Yeah.
And we're live.
Good
Hello
timing.
and welcome to Game Theory Gang, episode 66. I'm Matty Allen with Brisology, Tobiwan Hexobi, and ChrispyMan of hexfire.io. Welcome.
Welcome.
Hey guys, you guys see
Happy to
that
be
pre-show pump?
Yeah.
We were at
yes.
4 zeros earlier. Now we're only at 3.
What on
Likey.
Hex? You talking about Hex?
Pulse.
Loving it.
Pulse. Pulse. Yeah, chart's looking juicy. I'm happy.
Oh, everything looks juicy, man.
So I got 1 bar of internet here in Italy, and it's like 2:30 in the morning. So I definitely have an hour to do the show, and really excited to see what we talk about. Everybody hit the like and subscribe button. And we're live.
Yes. And we're live. Hey, Maddie, it was great seeing you in the flesh down in the Great Smoky Mountains. I got my Great Smoky Mountain hat from the trip.
Yeah, likewise.
And bro, I forgot the challenge that it is on a body to drive long distances. And it bolstered my respect for all the driving you do to do all these events.
Oh yeah,
man,
you should see Bitfinesse go, man.
Oh, right. Well, and Westcott too. They're both CDL.
Oh, really?
Big rig drivers. Yeah, that's a lot of
Nice.
bumping down the road. But yeah, it kicked my butt. So, but it was great trip. Great to see you in the flesh. You got to meet my sister and brother-in-law,
likewise.
which was exciting.
Yeah.
They were super.
They're
geeked out. I was-
Hexicans and Pulsekins, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And it was
Yes.
a little late, so my 84-year-old and 85-year-old mom and dad were already upstairs in bed, but they are also Hexicans and Pulsekins, and
Nice.
maybe next time you can meet the whole fam.
Yeah.
But how'd your trip go? Safe flight? Any bumps along the way?
No, everything's been really smooth. Made it to Rome and tomorrow Florence.
Nice. Yeah, I was in Italy in 1987 on a high school trip and we just went to northern Italy, so like Turin and up around there. But
Milan.
I've never been to Rome or southern Italy, but it's a beautiful part of the world.
So the rumor is that you are meeting Elon Musk to have a conversation with him about cryptocurrencies and
It was basically proven that Elon Musk posted a picture of himself in Italy, in Rome, 2 days before I did. So you can draw any conclusions you must from that. But
There
it got
we go,
20,000
guys.
views on Twitter.
I think we now understand why we had that pump earlier today.
All right.
That could be part of it. Could be part of it.
Correlation and causation.
That's it.
I really think we got a lot to look forward to, and I really think that PulseChain rocks. Just the amount of buy and burn that we talked about. Well, it's just burning, really. But it's way better than ETH. And
Well,
the rewards are way better than ETH for locking it as a validator. I mean, how can you beat 10% disappearing every year? Plus, you can get 20% APY.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. I'll tell you, so my thought on it, I've done hundreds of transactions, man, hundreds. And I would have never done hundreds of transactions on Ethereum. So go figure.
Yeah.
Not at $3, $5, $10, $15 a transaction, right? I was pretty Mr. Scrooge McDuck on doing stuff, So
How much are you paying now on PulseChain per transaction?
so little I can't even keep track. So little that it doesn't make a difference. Right? It does make a difference somewhere, but
What is so little? $1?
Nah,
50 cents.
usually about a penny. Yeah,
Yeah.
and there are a couple big transactions once in a while that are somewhere between 10 and 30 cents, but of course that's reflective of the price currently of Pulse as well, and blah blah blah. But nevertheless, it's still 100 times cheaper, at least for most things. I mean, I ended a stake recently that cost me $11 to end. on Ethereum, and it was 1 penny. 1 penny.
Wow.
Everything's like 1 penny, 1 penny, which breathes, it breathes some truth into this whole question about, EX, PX type of discussion, because, that it is real that there's a higher cost for me to participate on the Ethereum chain. But I'm also seeing what we had discussed and had predicted. APYs are moving away from each other. And APY, APR, whichever way you want to say it. And we're getting to the point where it at least catches my notice that there's a 6% difference in APY between a Quattro Cinco on one chain versus the other. So if I'm a believer in both chains and Hex is on both chains, I may make a decision in one direction or another at some point, right?
And which chain is offering the higher APY for Hex?
Say that again.
Which chain?
Oh, Ethereum has a higher APY.
Okay.
And on the shorter time frames a day, it's no difference, right? But when you're looking at Quattro Cinco, it's about a 5%, 6% difference.
But technically, the APY is higher on the Pulse chain because of the gas fees.
Maybe.
You get to keep more, right?
Yeah, you have to account for that, I suppose.
Speaking of burning everything down, I think Richard Hart's 10K and pray for Bitcoin is still on the
11K
table.
and pray?
Sure, 11K, 10K, 15K, who knows? And so did you guys hear the breaking news? They stole
BlackRock.
They stole the Bitcoins from Andrew Tate.
How many did he have? 21 million or just 21?
He had 21 whole Bitcoins.
Wow, 21 whole Bitcoin. Oh, we're doomed.
That is amazing.
I hope he doesn't dump all that at once.
21.
What do they call that Tone Vase conference, Brisology, that you've been to?
Unconfiscatable.
What do they call that one? Unconfiscatable. Okay.
And I actually did a video with Brandon from Rags to Riches.
Shout out.
Probably like 11 months back. And I actually found out that the word unconfiscatable is not even a word. The real way to say it is non-confiscatable. And you got to remember, all cryptos are confiscatable.
Yeah.
Because if the judge tells you, hey, give us your seed words, and you don't, they will put you in jail until you do. Okay.
Yes.
So, you can say, hey, it's not confiscatable, but at the end of the day, they will get it from you.
It's kind of a silly thing to name a whole conference.
Yeah, right.
It's almost like a come and take it conference.
Yeah.
You're challenging other people, and I don't know if you want to do that with the government, but yeah, this was kind of
law-abiding, tax-paying citizen.
Exactly,
right.
everyone. Yep. Pay your taxes, everybody.
Hell yeah! I just got back from my accountant. There was a bit of an error, and that's never comfortable when you get a letter from a 3-letter organization, government agency, saying that there was a mistake on your return. So that was a little nauseating, but it all got remedied. And as luck would have it, I actually have money coming back. So I didn't expect that outcome. So it's like, I thought I was going to owe a bunch more money, and actually it was the other way around. I'm like, right on. All about having good tax advisors and good accountants and tax attorneys on your team. Can't say enough about that. Making money is only half the battle. Speaking of money, I'm curious of your guys' thoughts on the new fiat on-ramps and off-ramps, Pulse Burn, and also OX Coast. I actually did a little chat with OX Coast the other night about getting set up on his platform, and was curious because it wasn't real obvious before you verify your ID what the fee structure was. And what he explained to me, which I thought was really cool, is that there's a use case now for weight token. If you stake your weight token, that you can reduce your fee. So their fee is 4%, which is curiously the same as what I've seen on Pulse Burn. But if you stake, I think it's 100,000 weight token, which is like nothing, like $40 worth or something. I don't even know. It's super cheap. So if you don't have it, you could buy enough to stake it. Then you get your fees reduced to 1%, which is very competitive. Yeah. And right now it's Ethereum based, but apparently sooner than expected, they're going to be able to on-ramp directly to PulseChain. So I'm excited about that.
I kept getting an error when I tried to sign up on Coast.
Oh, did you? Yeah, it's like I
kept giving me a 422 status error.
Message OX Coast, and maybe he can help you out. But it's like I had some lag on uploading my license, so it was late. So I just went to bed. So I haven't finished the verification process yet. So it was like opening camera, and it just kind of stuck there for a bit. But I was going to try it again tonight.
I couldn't even get to that part. I got to the part where it says, "Do you agree to this paperwork?"
Yep.
And it has like 2 sets of signatures.
Yes.
And I couldn't get past that part.
Were you doing it mobile or on a browser?
My computer.
What browser?
Brave.
Yeah, you might want to try a different browser.
Make sure to go to 0x.
Like, yeah, it's
number 0 and not.
Yeah,
I was on 1.
There's a bunch of scammers who just rush to register that Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like the beginning of an Ethereum address, 0x.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Now, I've heard a lot of people having success, but in my case, I'm in a state in the U.S. that is still not covered yet due to money transfer licensing issues. But hopefully that'll get resolved soon. I would say this because maybe a lot of people don't know who the Coast guys are, but they are long-time Hexicans, and I do believe them when they say that they are actually operating that at a loss. So it is not, I don't know if at the end of the day, all things considered, it's a complete loss, but with the discounts, it's actually below what their costs are to actually to do that fiat on ramp. So anyways, I do believe that. So.
Cool.
That's what they've come out and said a couple times. So I think it's a great loss leader.
Yeah. Well, a lot of stuff is getting built. Have you guys heard of this other one, HEX Combinator?
I did. Yeah, I just read that about a half an hour ago.
Yeah,
I was just replying to that in the chat.
I'm still trying to figure out, how does this help?
Well, in the fine print, it's like that's what I just said in the chat. I'm like, not sure about checks yet, but I'd read the fine print. Team makes me nervous with the mystery box, and Polly was a big black eye. So, I mean, I love Dipcatcher. I would say the same to him if we were sitting in the room together. I think he's done a lot of tremendously good work for the community and has good intentions. But, like Team, for example, it's like I didn't understand that when you sacrificed or transferred swapped your maxi for Team, that there was actually a duplicate of all those tokens made for a mystery box. So that's a little, I don't know, made me a little anxious. Like, okay, I mean, I would doubt they would do anything nefarious with that, but, that's diluting the supply that's in the hands of individuals. So that made me a little, made me more cautious about, any little derivative type products. And then Poly, of course, we all know that was, pretty big black eye as far as their efforts, because that did not go as planned. I mean, it kind of worked itself out. Yeah, I mean, Alex came to the rescue.
But the way that he talks about it, he knew that there could have been an error, and that's why he defaulted into what he did. And then everything got made whole, right?
And then some. Actually, with Alex burning, so instead of 1-to-1, it went to like 1.1 to 1. So it worked out, thankfully. But if Alex had not come in, then it would have been a pretty big hit. And it was, but generally speaking, it's like I think the guys are doing interesting things. I would just be curious, like where exactly how this CHEX thing works and what the benefit is to not new onboards. I mean, I can see the interest for new people, but for people that are already in the system, it's like. I mean, and then what I've read is basically like an arb play between the two chains, and it's like, I don't know, man. I think that just a lot of people get wrecked doing those kind of things. So I don't know.
Well, so
I'm skeptical.
I have to separate out in my brain the my motivations, what I'm doing. I often refer to this as like business models. So I have my PulseChain business model. I put my PulseChain hat on. I love checks. Right, great idea. More opportunity. Will it work? I don't know. Technically, is it okay? I don't know. But I like the
Can we tell the
idea.
audience what it is?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you brought it up. You tell them. You might know
Oh,
more.
ChrispyMan
isn't
loves
it just
checks.
something?
Sounds like a
Isn't
cereal.
it something where it's just combined hex, and so like
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
a checks ticker on one chain, Ethereum, and there's another one on Pulse Chain, and they're both just trying to be one ticker symbol you can buy to own both, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. You said that a lot better than I would have said it.
It's an
And you have
index
to,
of two coins.
you have to deposit the proper ratio in the first place.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
I think that's the case. As I said, but if I put my hex hat on, I don't like it. Right. And I'll tell you why. Because I think that hex is still going to be the premier yield providing, you know, store of wealth on both those chains, and particularly on PulseChain. And I didn't see anything that had anything to do with staking hex.
None. Right.
And
Can't do it. Too complicated.
I don't.
But you can do that with the Maximus DAO tokens. So
Sure,
this
sure,
is just
checks.
people who want to buy liquid and have it on both
Yeah.
chains and have one ticker symbol.
Yeah, sure. But if somebody's talking to me about onboarding, we're talking about hex, and I'm talking about onboarding. That is not part of my onboarding plan. My onboarding plan is buy hex, stake into a ladder in order to gain the most effective yield that's trustless that you can. And I'm not being negative towards everything else that's out there. It's just that I have not yet seen anything that's proven to me to be better. Yeah.
Right.
Maybe that's going to happen.
But. And it's kind of against like the fundamentals of what Hex is about with the truth engine and delayed gratification and all those things. And it's like, I get it. There's a market. There's people that want to be liquid. I can see how that could be appealing to people that want to have some exposure to Hex and get in. But it's kind of like Corey Costa. He was lamenting how some of his onboards basically just didn't put any of their due diligence in, didn't invest any beyond, an initial sum or maybe something he gave them, which I had the same experience. And it's like, I think there's two factors there. One is how good are your onboarding skills and how thorough are they? And then what's your audience? So it's like if you're going to someone who you really need to dumb it down for and, just kind of get them through the door, and those people typically are not going to be solid, like eventually OG hexagons that are like staking and digging in and learning. So it's like I try to pre-qualify people at this point. Like how much do they really want to invest in time and effort to learn about the ecosystem and really maximize the potential of what we're involved in? If it's people that are just like taking a moonshot with a meme coin that's called checks, not saying checks is a meme coin, but effectively you're buying a thing and hoping it goes up and that's it. And you don't have to learn anymore. That to me is like
we call it a derivative coin.
Yeah. There you go. It's a derivative, but it has limited ability. Now, I'm not shitting on Dipcatcher's thing. I think it definitely has a use case. I think, I would be careful to, read the fine print and make sure that everything's rock solid, because if you're going to give them one Pulse Hex and one E-Hex to get one checks, I would want to be very, very certain that that's redeemable for that one P-Hex and one E-Hex when you're done dabbling, So I'm sure that they've checked it out, especially with the black eye they got with Poly. I'm sure they're extra careful to not put out anything that's not perfect. But, do your own research.
Speaking of making things perfect, the auditing team said they wanted a couple more days for time pays.
That's good.
So
that's okay.
We were supposed to find out on Monday, but of course I'm thrilled that they're taking their time and still getting the results back so relatively quickly. I mean, I think they quoted us like something like 4 to 7 days or something. So that's really great. And
that's good.
But we're gonna have to wait till we get the results. I thought we'd have them tonight, but it's gonna be a couple more days.
Next week,
couple more days. Yep.
Exciting.
So that's been getting built. Time pays me, of course, and then Hex Scout, I guess, is coming out with a front end for Hex with onboarding and a bunch of explainer stuff. It sounds like, I'm hesitant to look into new projects, but there's some people who just seem to have better science than others. So I'm looking forward to maybe having them on the show at some point.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff popping up. It's like, I would just encourage people to, it's Maddie, you've talked about this before, the shiny object syndrome. It's like, be careful. I mean, there's like some reflection token stuff popping up and some other stuff I've seen.
Yeah,
People
forget all
even
that
DM me about it.
stuff.
I'm like,
Forget sacrifices, forget derivative
Yeah.
exchanges. But people who are
Right.
actually building stuff in Hex, like Hex Scout, like checks, these different
Yeah.
things, like they're very much
They're worth
related
looking
to the core.
Yep, worth looking at for sure.
But I would also like to point out how much I like PulseChain still this week.
Dude, I think it's
I
a
like
bargain.
PulseChain too.
I just I got anxious because it's like I had an issue with Coinbase, which I'm still having, which they've restricted my sends again. So if anybody needs a phone number for Coinbase, which is nearly impossible to find, DM me on Twitter and I'll be glad to share it. And that doesn't seem to help much, but it feels a little better than a chat, an online chat with them. Or emails back and forth. And I actually did get an email response after 2 weeks almost of chatting. Didn't get an email confirmation of a case number, nothing. I talked to him on the phone. Within 15 minutes, I got a case number and an acknowledgement that they were looking into my case.
Good job.
So maybe that gets things rolling. However, I had some new dry powder. I was trying to refill my dry powder bag that I exhausted with buying the dips recently. And I wanted to do it all with weight, but I couldn't wait. So I used my backup centralized exchange, which is also US based. And it was I'd only used them once before, just when I'd had a problem with Coinbase previously. And as soon as I got my wire, I got an email saying your funds are available. Like, just the communication was just so much better than Coinbase. It just makes me feel like a little less inclined to stick it out with them. I'm just really kind of done with them. And then ultimately, I didn't use all the dry powder through this other exchange. I'm holding on to some of it to go ahead and use weight. I was hoping I could report on that experience tonight, but I just haven't got through the verification process yet. But maybe later or next week, I can kind of tell you what it was like to go through their process. But so far, it looks pretty slick. And from talking to 0x Coast, I'm excited, and especially it's like if it's a way to get directly into Pulse with fiat, it sounds super legit.
Well, it's extremely generous of you to offer to share the direct number to Coinbase, with which very few people in the world have. And I've used your phone number for Coinbase, and it works.
Yeah, it works.
It
I can't even remember how I got it,
works.
but I'm pretty tenacious when I'm.
I think
on the trail of
you asked Dave Chappelle for it.
Maybe, yeah. Chappelle might have had it.
Yeah. Like, he's not in crypto, but he knows Brian Armstrong.
He knows everybody, right? I mean, he's buddies with Elon Musk, so maybe he got it from Elon.
There you go.
I think Elon gave him COVID.
Really?
Yeah, they were hanging out in Austin together with Joe Rogan, and right after that, Chappelle got COVID.
Wow.
Yep.
You heard it here first.
HIPAA.
What do you guys think about the whole BlackRock situation with their Bitcoin spot ETF going on?
I was
There
going to
is
ask about
more
that.
news today.
Yeah,
Fidelity's
Sami
jumping
put something up.
in. Somebody
Bring it
else.
on.
There's like three of the top 5 banks in the world and the largest hedge fund in the history of humanity.
Isn't
all
it interesting how all
Bitcoin
these other crypto exchanges that were kind of like the top dogs all collapsed just, 6 months prior to all the Wall Street companies coming in and swooping everything up on the monopoly board? I find that to be
sounds
very
pretty normal business to me, like
coincidental, right?
dog eat dog world.
Full of sharks, baby.
Cutthroat businessmen.
But I think it's bullish for Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is up 5% today. And
Yeah.
having a spot ETF is something that the Van Wyck group, they used to try that back in 2017 when we were trying to get a bull market going then too. They were like, oh, we're going to get a Bitcoin spot ETF, blah, blah, blah. And they never did. So
True.
if some of these big hitters, I mean, BlackRock has less than a 1% failure rate in all of their 500 applications to get a spot ETF. And what does that really mean? It means that it would be way easier onboarding for not just family offices, but major retirement funds. Wall Street, Main Street, everybody could buy with their 401ks, their retirement accounts. They could buy even easier than you can now, I guess, with like the CME futures contracts and all that kind of stuff is not as tightly linked to the real Bitcoin because it doesn't settle always in real Bitcoin. I mean, you could have a futures contract that does settle in real, and they've done that, but this idea of having a spot ETF, I mean, it's electronically transferred to the asset and it's held, I believe. So even though it's still paper Bitcoin, somebody else is holding it, it's not real. It could create a massive amount of buy pressure and much less friction for the legacy financial system to be holding more Bitcoin.
Sounds like $1 million Bitcoin is back on the table, boys.
Here we come.
You need people to believe that, I guess, right? For them to come in and buy the bags.
I believe it. There's only 21 million of them, and that's the thing about, like, I was actually kind of surprised that Andrew Tate had 21, because that's always been like my magical number. If anyone can get 21 whole Bitcoin, that makes you like one in a million. So only
right.
1 million people can hold that many coins all at once. And then I apply that to every crypto. So like Hex, there's 650 billion. Try to get 650,000 minimum, because now you're one in a million. Only 1 million people can have 650,000 Bitcoin. I'm sorry, Hex, all at once. Like I said, apply that to almost any of the cryptos.
What does that make you, like a turtle or something?
Yeah,
I
probably.
like turtles.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't have
that.
Yeah,
I think it's about a turtle. Well, it might be no, it's a squid. You'd be a squid.
Squid.
I like squid. Calamari.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of seafood, I bet you got some good food on your radar going to Florence tomorrow.
I love Florence.
Yeah. What'd you do there?
You should take some pictures and share some, like, from some foodie
pictures.
I
was gonna make my background the Coliseum or something.
Oh, there. I was wondering if you would have something like that, but then I was looking at how late it was over there. I'm like,
gonna do it.
So the one thing I wanted to say about the bull market coming was that I kind of got my memory rejogged on when these bull markets come. I'm like, what? And I'm like, we're all saying survive till 2025, but like, why are we actually saying this? And the truth is, from the past experience, is that 1 year after the Bitcoin halving, there's always a bull run. All right. And the way I can kind of point it out is that Bitcoin halved in 2012, right? Then there was a bull run at the end of 2013.
Well, then was a blow off.
Yeah, well, it was a bull run. It went from 300 to 1200, and
during
then
that entire period, not at the end, right?
Okay, and then 2016 was the next halving. The bull run came at the end of 2017, 1 year later, and then the next halving was at 2020, and then we had the bull run right there in 2021. And so the next halving is next year, and I figure probably around Christmas time of 2025 is when we'll see the next really major bull run, in my opinion. So keep that in mind. Take profits along the way, and I just wanted to get that out there.
Smart.
And so
I mean,
what
that's
month? What month?
you'd think
what
it would be
month,
common sense, but it's good to reiterate that kind of stuff.
What month in 25?
Probably November, December.
Which gives you, if you're really going to target that, so let's just say it's November. So you get about a couple weeks before November to sell in as you sell in as it goes up, maybe to the blow off top, and a couple weeks after. Right? So usually that period of time is just about 4 to 6 weeks, right?
Yeah, I think so.
The problem is you never know exactly when it's happening until it happens, but you can call it on the day. So, Maddie, you going to go see David or no?
Maybe. We have to come back through room. So, and I know that this is not the Coliseum behind me; it's the Pantheon.
Man, I would love to have been at the grand opening of some of these structures way back in the day. I think that would have been pretty cool, right?
Were you busy in school? Or what? You'd have to be pretty old to be there, buddy. I don't know.
I know. I wish I had a time machine.
As long as I didn't have to like build. Rome wasn't built in a day, but they're still working on it.
Really?
Yeah, really.
It took a minute.
I really want to see the pyramids. I want to know what those things were really used for.
That'd be cool. You ever look on the back of like a $1 bill?
There it is. The big eyeball in the middle.
That's what pyramids were used for, right there.
I did a mural. Well, actually, I painted my whole bedroom as a kid, and that was a huge wall. Was that pyramid with the eyeball?
A lot of people think that that's like an Egyptian pyramid, but if you actually look at like the base of that pyramid, you see a lot of like shrubbery around it, and so people are speculating that might not be an Egyptian pyramid. That could be a different pyramid somewhere else.
Like a shrubbery?
Because on the back of the dollar bill, there's like a little bit of shrubbery
on the back,
at the base of the pyramid.
Well, everybody knows there is a pyramid in the United States in the Midwest.
Inside isn't there some inside the Grand Canyon?
It's like in a cave or something.
This is way off topic. This is way
Antarctica,
Crypto. The world is circular. The world is a globe.
All right.
That's right.
Hey,
I've seen the Luxor before.
I can bring it back.
I got a screenshot that'll bring it back.
What do you guys think about the Ethereum developers raising the max amount of ETH per validator to 2048 ETH? And what do you guys think about that being applied to the PulseChain validators?
Sounds like they're literally thinking of every minor adjustment that they can make in the entire world except for lowering fees. So thank you for keeping our use case intact.
That sound to me that sounds like a compliance thing. Like they're trying to make sure it's more quote decentralized.
That sounds like less efficiency. Centralization.
Well, I mean, if it's less, the max you can do is 2048, right? So, I mean, aren't there validators that are larger than that now on Ethereum?
No, they're all smaller than that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's 32 ETH or something.
Because it's all
that's
you
the
want to
minimum.
be. Yeah,
Like
you want to be
in...
exactly at the minimum currently with the game theory, I believe.
Okay.
Because then you can have multiple ones. But I think the proposed change is like you could, still have one and just you could get rewarded based on the amount that you actually put in up to the maximum.
Interesting.
So it's like such a minor adjustment, right? It's like I could have taken my 1,000 ETH what's the new limit going to be, Brisology?
2048.
Okay, yeah. So I could take my 2048 and I could split it up
2048.
I could split it up into 32 part segments, right? Or I could just keep it all as one.
It's kind of like they're just trying to make a bigger supply sink. You know, they're like, hey, look, if you guys want to just make this a little bit more scarce, you guys can now add more ETH to your validators.
Well, like if you had like 34 ETH, right? You don't have enough to make a second validator. So you're going to keep that 2 ETH out.
Yeah.
Because it's not a multiple of 32. With the increased limit, I'd expect that people are getting rewarded based on their 34 that they actually put in. Yeah.
Imagine how many OA validators. Imagine how much pulse the OA would stick in each one and burn.
I mean,
I got a question.
Maybe not.
I'm confused. Okay, so 2048 is 64 times 32. So, my familiarity is with pulse chain validating. So, depending on how many you feel comfortable running on a given machine, each instance has its own validator key every 32 million pulse that you put in. So, you can have however many on a particular box. So, when they say that the max, are they saying for any particular endpoint, like a machine can only do 2048? Because how could you limit like a person or a group of people? Because I thought like there was pretty big centralization already. Like 70% of the ETH validators were like 4 different groups. Am I totally mistaken on that?
What's the question?
Yeah, you can always start a new one, but I would imagine that the change is doing something to where basically if you're in that situation where you have 34 ETH or 36 ETH, you can lock up the extra ones and get rewarded based on that. Because the maximum is higher than 32. And the maximum is not still the minimum.
Yeah.
It's like if you had 40 million pulls and it's like, oh, I have to leave the 8 million out because I got the 32. It's like now you can just put all 40 in and have it all working, I guess.
Gotcha. I thought maybe it was a limiting factor as far as how much one individual validator could actually be participating, but that would add that'd be hard to quantify or to, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll have to look into
you can always put in more.
Because like, what's the purpose? I mean, it doesn't seem like there's really. To me, it makes. I mean, think about like the what was theorized as the OA validators that were pulled back out of validating for Pulse Chain. And then, shortly after that, Richard was like, now it's like completely decentralized or all in the hands of the community or whatever. So to me, that sounds kind of like a compliance thing, like to make sure it's properly decentralized amongst like community members validating and not a centralized entity like Vitalik. But so that's where my head's going with this 2048 thing is like, is it just that they're wanting to make sure there's not somebody with like 32,000 ETH that's running 1,000 validators? Right.
But you could still do that with the increased maximum. You just have to split them into separate validators.
Gotcha. You just have to have like 20 different machines or whatever, 15 different machines.
Yes.
Got it. However many.
Yeah, it just sounds like
different instances.
Or 150. Yeah.
Sounds like they're making the validator people. It just makes them 64 times bigger of a possible supply sink. Maybe.
It's what I said. It's that there's a significant portion of people that are in between 32 and 64 ETH. And so rounding at every number, there's plenty of people who are in between 64 and 96. And so you're getting more participation with everybody who falls into not the exact number of ETH. That would be my guess. And that actually probably has like a powerful effect to maybe like lock up another 10% or something like that.
So the way that Ethereum validation works now, whether you have 32 or 64 or 96 or whatever, you're technically still just one validating instance?
No. but there's all these people who don't get to participate with all their ETH because they don't
get
have
that.
a multiple. So
I got it.
But right now it works the same way as it does in PulseChain. So you're having multiple instances on the same machine based on the multiple of 32 million or 32 ETH.
Got it. Well, couldn't they do that without making a max? I mean, not to be like, get too particular about it, but it's like the max thing is what's throwing me. It's like, why would they say you can't have more than 2048? It's like, couldn't you just say any number?
Because right now the max is the minimum.
And the max is the minimum. You can only do 32 ETH. That's it.
Yeah. And then you have to start a new instance, just like in PulseChain. If you don't have 32 million, you have to start a new instance, like and have another 32.
Got it. Okay. All right. Interesting. I don't know. Have to call Vitalik.
Does anyone know what Fox Mulder is talking about with the ink and fee issues on Tough Arms?
It's not something like the four of us can resolve because we're not involved with the project. But he's referring to on V1 with the farms. They have not cleared up the language that says you only get ink. He's asked a couple times in chat. But I mean, it's not something that we can do anything about, right? But I mean, perhaps maybe somebody listening will hear it and change it.
You want us to fix that? We'll take care of it. How about that?
You go ahead and make that promise, Matty.
No, I'll email the devs.
Well, it's frustrating. I was thinking about that yesterday myself because, not having clarity over the stuff is
in a decentralized system. Anybody can make a report, so we'll get the word out. Yeah, that should be fixed. What else? What else needs tweaking? Is everything else working on PulseChain?
When limit orders.
All right. What about what do you guys want first?
Single-sided
limit orders or single-sided staking for PulseX? How'd you know I was going to say that?
Because
I want limit orders.
Or the limit orders. Highest fixed. All right, I'm going to make a poll. I'm going to make a poll on YouTube. Everybody can decide. You guys can each represent one side.
Sure.
So everybody chooses, like, what do you want more?
I choose single-sided staking.
Okay.
I'll choose limit orders.
Okay. Who wants highest of stakes?
No one.
I'll take it.
Well,
I've had enough of
that. Awesome. That's the best one.
That's an outlier, isn't it? Yeah, I don't know. I think
you can add a fourth thing. What do you want the most?
At the moment, I think that single-sided staking will do the most for the community. At the moment.
Oh, but single-sided staking. I thought you were talking about single-sided liquidity, like asymmetric liquidity.
V3 liquidity.
Yeah,
maybe I misunderstood.
Well, I don't know which is it, Briz? What are you taking?
I'm talking about single-sided staking, where you stake PulseX and you get some other coin.
Got it.
Yeah, I think that pumps the price, right?
Yeah.
Which
all right, guys.
Care about the price.
I figured out what the fourth thing was. What do people want?
Stream.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's unrealistic for an RH stream until we've got considerable green candle action and other things are in place.
So somebody has to take the argument for it, and then we're all going to go around the room and we're going to argue why we chose this one thing.
I want limit orders.
So Tobiwan wants limit orders. Brisology wants single-sided staking with PulseX. And ChrispyMan, you can choose RH streaming or the highest of stakes.
Wow.
Bing, 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 bing.
Well, I guess I'll take highest of 6.
Ding, ding, ding.
Okay. Wow. You guys leave me with RH streaming, really?
Well, yeah. Because what are you going to say? I mean, I don't think you should stream.
Well, he stood you up on the last one, Matty, so he owes you one, right? So
I don't think he did. I
He was
had
there.
no
He
expectation.
was there in spirit.
I had no expectation.
Yeah, Maddie was trying to breathe it into reality.
He was promoting
right.
it.
We all
I was
were.
killing it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was broadcasting. All right, so who wants to start? I'll go last because I have the hardest one.
Oh,
I'll go first.
Go ahead, Briz.
I'll go first.
You'll go first.
I'll
Okay.
go first. We'll
No, I'll
go
go first.
clockwise. No, I'll go first.
Age before beauty.
You know what? All right, you go
I
first.
think
all right,
I'm the
well,
oldest,
you
so.
were around with the pyramids, so go ahead, get started.
No, you go first.
Oh wow!
Okay,
Rock
I'll
paper
go.
scissors.
All right,
Got it.
single-sided staking. I think single-sided staking is gonna be awesome. It's gonna get everyone to just lock up their PulseX into the pools. It would be kind of cool if there were like some kind of time periods, like a day, month, a year, whatever. But that's to be decided. But that's going to get everyone to lock up their coins and make them more scarce. And when coins get more scarce and demand stays the same, number goes up, baby.
NGU.
Yeah,
Yep,
man, number
NGU.
goes up.
And so I think that's why single-sided staking is going to be one of the best features for PulseX to come in the next year.
Well, what's the reward though?
It's going to be a whole bunch of shit coins that we're going to be able to dump on the market.
Yeah. What's the
Nice.
APY going to be on that?
So hey, Briz, can you refresh my memory a little bit? Because
More.
that sounds vaguely familiar, but it's like, is like as those things are traded, a little bit are scraped off to hold back for a reward of a single-sided staking situation, or where would those shitcoins come from?
So I think what happens is like a third-party project is going to come and say, hey, look at this S coin we have, and we want to get it into the hands of people. So can we give your exchange a bunch of these coins, and then you're just going to auto-distribute them to the single-sided stakers, and the people who have ink get the control, get the vote for which
like the DAO.
coins, with the DAO, which coins we get to single-sided stake. So that's the benefit of having the ink, is that you get to choose which coins the PulseX single-sided stakers get.
Allegedly, right? Because we
Allegedly,
don't know.
that's
Yeah,
I
it's all
think
speculation.
that's how it's gonna work.
Yeah.
But it might not.
Yeah. So I from looking at the proposal pages when they were up, Toby, I was thinking project makes a proposal that over X period of time they'll distribute X tokens, which creates a rate, and then whoever gets into the pool gets the most of it, right? So those in sooner with the most get the most over time, kind of like the ink does now. That's how I imagine it working. Maybe a dev can tell us.
Yeah. So
And somebody explained to me how I was wrong, that there is no impermanent loss. So I try to bring that up a lot, even though I've mentioned it before on the show. With single-sided PulseX staking, it's anticipated that there would be no impermanent loss.
How are you wrong?
correct. I think
Yeah,
there's
that's right.
no
You can't-
impermanent loss because you're not trading any of your PLSX coins. Because the way it works is that when you provide liquidity, typically, is that you provide equal amounts of both coins, and when you trade one coin, you get more of the other coin. And so there's only one coin, and you're not trading it; you're just receiving more coin. Therefore, no impermanent loss. You're only getting impermanent gains.
So how? Okay, so maybe I'm just fully not with it with single-sided, but if you don't you set a range as to what price points you want to participate at, or am I thinking of V3 liquidity providing single-sided asymmetric? That's what I'm thinking of. Never mind. I answered my own question.
Yeah, I think that's
Single-sided staking is a different animal. I keep thinking about single-sided liquidity providing or.
That kind of reminds me more of like the V2 liquidity providing on Uniswap, where you have like this range, and if it gets all the way to the bottom of one side, it's like you're completely out.
Right? Got it.
And I know with PulseX, you don't even set that range. It's just like you just put the coins in there.
Just staking. Got it.
Yeah.
Well, we have 10 more minutes for the show.
Okay.
All right.
And we have 3 more presentations to do.
So
The
we're on the
audience
clock.
has already taken away with Brisology's explanation. He's winning the poll
What? Nah, come on.
greatly. So we better rush to
Briz.
ChrispyMan for his
Crispy, let's see what you got.
Hey, Briz, what was your topic again? Single-sided staking?
Yes, sir.
All right, my topic is, what am I talking about? Oh, I'm
Highest
talking
of stakes.
about
Highest of stakes.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I haven't seen it. So, all right, highest of stakes, highest of stakes. Right. All right. So, all right. Listen, guys, marketing is hard to do, but no publicity is bad publicity. Right. Very difficult to measure. This is why this is not something I wanted to choose. Right. Sure, when the movie comes out, we'll have some numbers about, what it might have been sold for and how many viewers see it, et cetera, but very hard to translate that into, hey, did it really have an effect on anything? So it's definitely, I consider it to be definitely kind of like even though the people making it are making it for a profit, for our community, it is well, potentially, Toby. But certainly the guys are getting paid, they're doing the work, right? On the ground. And so, I look at it as marketing, right, for PulseChain, Hex, primarily Hex, right? That being the case, I think it's extremely bullish because it gives us the opportunity to cross over to mainstream for people to see things. Listen, I don't watch enough. Well, I don't watch as much as I used to. I don't watch that much Netflix, but I'm very aware that there's an Arnold Schwarzenegger, documentary that came out last week, right? So even though I didn't watch it, I know it's there. I'm seeing news reports about it. People are talking about it. Now, will this highest of stakes hit that kind of level? No, but the point of well, maybe it will, but I don't think so. But I'm just thinking that it will expose more people, to crypto in general, more people to Hex, PulseChain, more people to Richard Hart, love him or hate him. And I think that's all going to be great publicity. So I think that's very, very positive for us. And it will be it'll be a long-term effect. It'll be a year to 2 years worth of, or longer, of pressure that we can't measure. Right. But we're going to look at it and see.
The thing I like about the highest of stakes is it's the only thing, the community is the only thing that you can't copy paste in this whole game theory. And, you could say Richard is, him streaming is part of something you can't copy paste. But guess what? He's in the documentary. So.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
So I think that it's, we're in such good hands. I think that having this Emmy award-winning crew, I think I love that the community is underestimating this because it tells me how much to the upside we could see it.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just even when it happens, Matty, you won't know it, right? We'll know some of it maybe because maybe we'll get some feedback from Toby.
We'll know.
I'll know. There will be thousands of people instead of 184 people live, it'll be 1,800 people live. And they're all going to be like, hey, we saw the movie and we're buying it right now.
I suppose that might happen that way. Yep.
It could. We are in hopes that that's it. I'll go with the limit orders. Here's my thing. The volatility has been what has helped some and hurt probably many. And I know for a fact that some of my onboards were fully shaken out with all of their stuff. PulseX, EHEX, they got flooded out, sold everything. The good news is, the one in particular, it's a good personal friend of mine, he bought back in and more or less broke even, like didn't lose a bunch of his bag. So he got lucky to get back in before the price ran up from where he dumped it. But he was temporarily all in fiat, so that's wow. So I'm sure that there are many other people out there like that as well, because they see these big red candles or they see the downtrend and it gets them freaked out. Well, a lot of that is from market dumping, right? Just like there's market pumping. Limit orders kind of like it smooths out that curve So if there's people that are wanting to scale out or scale in, you know, and that's honestly a big reason that I am, you know, putting more energy into EHEX, because I still have that opportunity to set, I mean, especially now on Matcha, it's 30 days out. I can set a limit order and I don't have to worry about, like, you know, getting woken up by a price alert. And is the price alert right? Where is it pulling the price from? And then hopping in there and then trying to do an order and wicking the price against me. You know, I can set my limits and forget about it and then wake up the next day and be like, awesome, I bought the dip, right? And then the same on the other side. If people are wanting to get out of, then they can look at areas of resistance where we're likely to reject and pull back down. And then they can set their limit order and do that, as opposed to just wrecking the chart. So it's like, I think, generally speaking, limit orders are better for the psyche of the community and the people that are currently invested or considering investing. So that's why I would really like to see limit orders implemented sooner than later. I think that would be a huge help. Single side liquidity, not so much. I think that benefits the wrong kind of activity. And I think that's part of the reason we forked V2 and not V3 on Uniswap. So yeah, that's kind of my argument for that. Hopefully I got a few more votes out of you guys that didn't already vote for the first guy talking.
Bite your tongue on that anti-single-sided staking talk, all right?
No, not staking, liquidity providing. Okay. Staking. I'm cautiously optimistic. I just need to learn more about, you know, what it entails. But it sounds good. Sounds like a pumpamental. But the liquidity providing, the V3 liquidity providing one-sided, I mean, it's effectively giving people an option to get out. It's kind of like a limit order, but, you know, I've just seen a lot of fuckery with single-sided liquidity providing, and, you know, so I'm not a big fan. I just prefer to set a limit order, and it's simpler, right?
I would have guessed that RH streaming would have way more votes than anything else. But every time I do a survey, it surprises me, it's a good thing. So me arguing that RH streaming is the thing that people want the most, that's pretty easy, because people have been asking for it so much, they're totally disheartened. And, you know, it's also the easiest thing that can be done. So out of all these things of getting a documentary together and getting software to work, those are really hard. So, yeah, I mean, with that being said, I think that, you know, we're decentralized, so we don't need Satoshi to come back and stream. We don't need Richard to come back and stream. But I'm pretty sure everybody would be pretty pumped if it happened. So there you go. That's my argument.
I think you'd probably have the most concurrent live viewers that we'll see in a long time.
That's right.
If he streamed.
Yeah. 191 people watching. We're going into the last 2 minutes of the show, and we're going to get
Smash
1 minute
likes.
of TA with Tobiwan.
Yeah,
to
I can do
close
it
it
super
out.
fast. All right, cool. So basically, you see this big descending purple channel that we've got going down here. If we see how this has been playing out, it's like we've been bouncing off the top. Let's see, first established point of that, I'd say, would be May 20th. So we've been in this channel pretty regularly. We were down in this bottom half of the channel from May 23rd all the way until our little pumperooski we got on June 16th. And then we're back into the top half of the channel. I've got these yellow quarter lines just as another indication of potential areas of support and resistance. And oddly enough, what have we done? We've rejected off of that, sat on top of it, kind of had this candle. If you go down to the 4 hour, you can actually see where we're really just like on top of it, below it, above it, below it, above it, below it. We got this almost engulfing daily candle on the green there. It's a little hard to see on the chart there, but you can see that we wicked above and below, had that full body closed above. That would be technically an engulfing candle, which is a very bullish sign. But we did wick back down. Got a nice green candle starting off the new day. I'm not sure how many hours we have. We've got 22 and a half hours left in this day. And we're precariously close to the top of this channel. And for those of you that have followed along with my explanations of pattern analysis previously, typically when you break a pattern, you're going to move the height of that particular pattern. So the height of that pattern is this vertical purple line right here. See if I can get that to move around a little bit for everybody so you can see it more clearly. Here's this guy moving around. So if we were to pop out of there today before the day's out, that puts us up to a significant area of support around 2 cents. So support and resistance up here about 2 cents. So
Nice.
We could look at 100% appreciation if we bust out with conviction. Need to get past that 55 EMA the 21 EMA right around the 114 mark. But I'm feeling pretty bullish with where we are. And also some could say that this was a bull flag that's already breaking up. So stay tuned. Follow me on Twitter at Tobiwan_Hexobi or my alt account Tobiwan Hexobi with no underscore for my daily TA updates to help you remain calm in a volatile world.
Is this ChrispyMan that we're raiding who's going to be going live here in 10
Crispy's
minutes?
going live? Cool. I'll hang out for Crispy.
I have a canned thing. If you want an invite, I'll send it over to you, Toby.
Yeah.
And in other words, to Toby's TA, the number might go up, it might go down, it might go sideways.
Might go sideways, right?
Not financial advice.
Not financial. Nobody's got a crystal ball. If anybody's telling you which way it's going, be skeptical of that person.
Absolutely. And yeah, so thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks for being here. Hit the like and subscribe button. Follow everybody here on Twitter and YouTube. And until next time, stake wisely, my friends, and peace out.
All right, see you, Maddie. Have fun.
Yeah.
Adios.
Oh, it's going to take me a second.
Uh-oh. How do you say goodbye? Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.